Hi, I'm Heather Telford. Thanks for joining me on my channel today. Recently, I made some cards and put them on my blog and Instagram showing faux postage. I decided to make some more and film it today so that you could see. I'm not going to show you the watercoloring, that's already done, and there's a video of how I did this panel on my YouTube channel anyway. That will be linked in the description box below. I just chose a panel to use to make my faux stamp card. The key player in this project is this set of dies from Elizabeth Craft that gives you the outline for cutting perforated stamps. Then it gives you a bunch of dies to go inside your stamps, plus a bonus, the numbers. I haven't used those yet, but I know I will, probably for art journaling. So we're going to start with the large die, but we will need some of these others shortly. You can see this will cut you out a big panel of faux stamps, but there are a couple of groupings within the panel that I quite like working with. There's this little grouping here that has 1, 2, 3, 4 stamps, and there's this larger grouping here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stamps. So I think I can get a little group there and the larger group here. But first I will cut out my backing for the stamps. I'm going to cut this large panel here out first. And it's an intricate die, as you can see, all those little holes, so I will go back and forth quite a few times. So because I wasn't cutting the whole stamp, I can just tear off the bit I need. You could cut it with scissors, but it tears really nicely. So that's a small panel. The large panel. Remember, I was going to create the decoration from these two sections of my panel. That's the section where I will have to cut out the stamped area to go on my faux stamp base. I'm just going to cut this panel in half to make it easier for myself. So I'm just going to pop them in there like that. And I can lift this up, and I'll just add a little bit of tape to hold them in place while I die cut them. If you had a postage stamp die that didn't have these extra bits, all you need to do is cut out the perforated stamp part twice, and then you just cut down your image section. I'll show you what I mean later. So I lift that up, and again, I'm just going to tape these down. It doesn't matter if they're exactly in line because there's a little separation from the stamps anyway. They just have to be close. So now I have two sections of faux stamp backing, and now the pictures to go on top. Because I lined them up before cutting, you'll still be able to see the original picture. So before I forget where they're going to go, I'm going to glue them down, and I'm just going to use a liquid glue because the liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle time. Okay, the next step for my pretty little stamps is to give them some postage. So, by the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned, this flower is this stamp from the Fine Flowers Volume 2, designed by my friend Goliev Tiskins. So I've got a bunch of postmarks, also from Darkroom Door. So I like to use this one that has the little squiggly lines. And because I'm an Aussie, I like to use the Aussie ones. So there's a Sydney one there. There's a Melbourne one there. What's this one? Oh, that's a New York one. Let's try it. So I could put them in my stamp positioner, but I'm just going to freestyle it because, as you know, postage marks do not always hit exactly the right spot. So this is a grey rather than a black. I haven't decided how this is going to go on my card yet. So I'm going to just do a little bit here and there. Okay, and then Melbourne. This might be a good time to thank the people from Craft Roulette who boosted my subscriptions over the 1,000 mark. I was on Craft Roulette a few weeks back and we were talking about how I had to start a new YouTube channel, and it was growing slowly, and I just want to thank the Craft Roulette viewers who went straight over and subscribed and helped grow my channel. And Melbourne made me think of that because Michelle Lupton was cheering people on to go and subscribe, and she lives in Melbourne. So now I have 2 panels for 2 cards, and because I stamped my postmarks that way, I'm going to have that one go that way, and then this one, it's just going to be a mini card. I'm really into mini cards at the moment. The thing I didn't do is I didn't put any words on. On this card earlier, I showed you I've got a postmark and those wiggly lines. I added a happy birthday, similar to where you would have the country of the stamp. A nice set for adding words is this set, also from Darkroom Door, Nature Walk. It's one of my favourite sets, if not my favourite. And it's just got really tiny writing, so it looks good on these stamps. So let me go off the beaten path and be wild and free. And we'll just see if I can position those in the right place. Now, I mentioned that I would show you how you could create faux postage stamps, even if your die set didn't have these inner dies to cut the inside of the stamp. So if you just have a die, there are lots of companies who make these faux postage dies. So if you had a die from a company that just makes the perforated section, you can still make yourself a set of stamps that go together. So that one's already cut. I'm going to cut that same section out of my pattern piece. Now, it did cut right through, but that isn't even essential, because what we're going to do is cut off all those perforations to cut smaller pieces to sit on here, and it's actually easier to see from the back. I'm going to use scissors, but you could use your trimmer to cut down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just to the left of the perforations. So yeah, it might not be perfectly straight due to me using scissors, but I just want to give you the idea. So just cutting those perforations off. The camera cut off just before I finished putting this together, so I took the time to just trim the edges with my trimmer, put some words and postmarks in black this time rather than grey. That was just to show you how to make your faux postage without the inner cutting dies. And here are the finished cards using the inner cutting dies. Just a really nice way to use up some panels. I've had that panel for quite a while since I filmed the video actually with those flowers in it, which I will link to in the description box below. And I will link to this die as well. There's a very similar one available also, so I will link to both those dies. Thanks for joining me. I hope you try making some faux postage. I'll be back soon with another video. Take care, everyone.